Welcome to our lesson. We're exploring the pedagogy of chaos. It's the highest in the activated classroom teaching model of our 5 pedagogies, but it's also the most central. In a way, sits at the core of our other pedagogies. So all of our pedagogies, whether you're looking at curation, whether you're looking at conversation, whether you're looking at correction or even creation, have elements of chaos. Chaos is key to learning. Chaos is learning to make sense of things in a world where we are often bombarded with information. There's too much information. There is conflicting information. There is missing information. And the pedagogy of chaos is something that is vital for 21st century students to learn in this realm of chaos. And so chaos is about trying to make sense of things. There are many powerful tools that we can use online that support and encourage this pedagogy of chaos. For example, we've got lessons, and if you look at the other lessons that deal with mind maps. Mind maps are a great way of dealing with chaos. Infographics are another. But probably one of the most fun ways of dealing with chaos is using a technology that revolves around cartoons. Our students love cartoons. They love watching them. They love creating them. They love reading them. So why not use this as a great way to start making sense of chaos? And that's what we're going to have a look at in this lesson, using cartoons as part of the pedagogy of chaos. There are a wide range of online tools, some that you can download onto iPads, tablets, etc., that you can use for creating cartoons. In this lesson, we're going to look at just one. It's a free tool called toondoo.com. It does have a download in the App Store, for those who want to use it on an iPad. But really simple, we're just going to use it. And it's also got other options like Bookmaker, and we've covered some of these. Obviously, as I said earlier, you can use these to support other pedagogies like the pedagogy of creating your own books, etc. But we're going to use this to help make sense of complex things, and we're going to use it to support the pedagogy of chaos, and we're going to use their comic creator. So Toondoo Maker, and click that, and we are ready to roll. Very simple to use. You can quite simply choose one of the layouts, so the horizontal and vertical layouts. Now, what's powerful? The concept of learning through chaos is about distilling complex thoughts or complex ideas or confusing ideas or maybe too much information into simple representations. So rather than just simply using a mind map, which is also obviously another very powerful tool that we can use to support this pedagogy, we're going to use a cartoon. And you need to distill all of those concepts into just a few images. So there are just a few panels that this is always to be distilled into, so that makes it quite challenging. But let's try and pick this one. We're going to maybe choose a vertical layout that's got like a little square look, sort of traditional comic look. So here we are through into the little design studio for creating our cartoons. It's quite simple. On the right hand side, these are our 4 panels that we are going to have. And on the left hand side are essentially all the elements that you can put onto your panels. So quite simple, they're just a series of tabs. You can hover over them. These are going to be our characters. Then you can go to backgrounds. And so as you go on, you can start to see other things. We can have props, we can have the text that they're going to be speaking, and all sorts of other special effects that can also be included. So let's just start with some simple background. Maybe you can go and grab any particular background that you like. They basically broken out into categories. So this is, say, it's going to be scenery backgrounds, there's going to be space background, and abstract background. So depending on how you're going to set this up, you can really decide exactly how it's going to work. Doesn't really matter. Maybe you can have indoors background. So let's just click that for one of a option. So a whole lot of interesting little backgrounds you can choose. And again, you can cycle through them to see what other options there are. This is only page 1 of 3, but you can obviously go through and click and see many more. The other option is to also search. So there's a search, so you could search for a specific thing. So let's say maybe we're going to search for classroom. You can search in this set or all across everything to see what it comes up with. Right, so we can see they've got some classroom images, so that's going to be quite fun if we wanted to choose one of these. So we want to maybe choose this classroom image because it's something fun. So how do you use it? Very simple. You now just click and you just drag it to whichever slide you would like to, or little panel you would like to put it on. So we have got our classroom now put onto this first panel. Now you may notice that it's the wrong size. You can adjust anything you like simply by looking at the various tools that are on the bottom. So you can click, for example, shrink, and each time I click shrink, it's going to adjust the size of that. So you can adjust the size or enlarge it as you wish on the bottom and get it to exactly the right size for that particular panel, or pretty close to the right size. So there is our classroom scene. Now obviously we can start to add other elements to it. Maybe we now want to start to add some characters. You'll see again the characters are divided into different themes. So there's women, men, you've got some sort of strange bear things, kids, etc. So you can choose the theme that you like. Maybe let's go with the kids theme. Grab one of those again, drag it across and place it on your first panel. Again, as I said earlier, you can adjust the sizes just by choosing the items on the bottom here. Let's put this little kid lying on the desk, get him about the right size. There we go, lying happily on the desk. Right, and I think at this point we might want to possibly have a teacher in the class, so let's find a teacher. And here's a few look like they could be teachers. How about promoting her to be our teacher? Again, we will just adjust the size to get her to be a reasonable size and send her to the front of the classroom. And there she is, ready to teach. Right, so again, there are lots of elements. We can start to add props, but what we'd like to do is maybe get our teacher to be saying something. So we're going to choose one of the call-outs. So we'll grab a call-out and drag it across. Right, so there you get the idea. We've got the first of our cartoon panels built, beautiful, fun. What you can now do is, if you like, if you look at the top right here, we can click that, and what that's going to do is it's going to replicate, because obviously I'd like to possibly keep the background and the teacher, etc., and start to then change elements. So you can very easily click on each of these to move it to the next panel, so you can easily edit it. So let me start to make some other things and build my cartoon. Also very important, don't forget to give your cartoon a name. That is done at the top here. You can do that whenever you like. So there you have it. Really simple to create a cartoon. There's lots of other options down the bottom here that you can manipulate your cartoons and however you like, and let you experiment. Let your students experiment. They'll very quickly find out how simple this is, and they will be using it in very exciting and powerful ways. Right, when you're ready, you can just go to the top and you can choose save or save as if you want to change its name, and it gives you an opportunity to put in a few details. You can put in little tags if you like. It's fine, it's all up to you. And obviously there are options here that you can let others use this little cartoon, etc. The important ones down the bottom here. Are you going to publish it to the world? Obviously as a class you might want to just keep it private so that only your students, etc., can see it. In which case there will be a link that you can use. That link is a private link, but you can then simply copy that link and share it. So your students could copy that link and share it with you. Or alternatively, you could get your students to make sure that they put in your teacher email address over here. So number of options that you can use. I'm just going to use this one, publish to the world, and you simply hit publish. Once you're done, you will see this. You can hit OK, or you can actually go to the page to see where your toon has been published. Okay, there it is, ready for the world to comment on and see it. And up the top here is a link that you could share your students could share with you as a teacher. So that's it. Very simple. That is creating cartoons, a great way to get your students to start making sense of chaos and using chaos as a pedagogy. Very powerful way for them to distill complex and interrelated and often conflicting thoughts possibly down to a single series of images. So hope you have lots of fun. I'm pretty sure both you and your students will enjoy learning using cartoons and underpinning this and supporting the pedagogy of chaos.